How we doing, folks? So, I have to be honest, today was not the best day. Let's just say that I officially decided today that I'm probably not going to teach at this school next year. And I know these feelings happen, and by the way, they do. I have to be honest. There are days where you're just like, you know what? Fuck this job. The kids don't care. But it's my regular kids. I literally put everything I have into just talking to them and gaining their trust. I mean, there's a kid in there that would cuss every other teacher out during the day, but for me, he's like, you know, Boyko, you're cool. And, you know, I treasure that. But the same kid will turn on me. And today I had some kids turn on me. And I think that's it. I'm a phenomenal person. I'm a caring individual. I put everything I have into making their future a better chance, because a lot of the time a lot of them don't have a future. And I had it thrown in my face today, so you know what? Fuck it. You can only do so much. If my psychological well-being is at stake, and that I go home and all I can do is just try not to be stressed with my wife, who tries her hardest to do the same, to not be stressed with me, I don't want to do that to her. And if it starts to affect my life and my health, because I'm sure I've given up years of my life teaching. And I mean that because my father died of a heart attack, and I know that my heart is where I may be leaving Earth, which I accept. It's the way it is. Maybe we'll come up with something so that's not the case, but at the moment, that is how we're looking. Let me put my sunglasses on here. And yeah, so recently in that class, my fourth period, the kids have been rather disrespectful, and they don't realize it. They think it's okay. They think this is normal. They treat the people they care about this way, so why wouldn't they treat me? And I don't know whether there's anything I could ever solve or do anything about it. It's just the way it is. I kind of have been fighting a losing battle, and I feel like I really lost today. And so there's this one kid. He clearly is in the process of accepting that he's failing at everything, and his defense mechanism is to rebel, because if he gets in trouble, it's not his fault, you know. And then he just becomes a statistic. And it almost sounds like he's okay with that. But I have a system in class where they pay to get out of trouble. So if they're doing something that a teacher would normally just yell at them for, I simply ask them for fake money. And they know that if they can't afford it, that it's not because I'm mad at them. It's because it's policy that I go and oh my God. Okay, so this dumb motherfucker on a bicycle saw the turn lane, a double turn lane begin, and he weaved and wove through cars turning left across him. He should have died. I'm sorry. That's Darwin right there. That guy should have been just hit. I just wished it wouldn't be me, because there's a lot of paperwork, and in this kind of town you might end up getting shot just because someone ran into your car. Whatever. You know, folks, I'm over this shit. This is what a city is like. The cities are terrible. The cities are absolutely terrible. Nobody cares about each other. It's all just who can fuck each other over as much as possible. The kids, most of the kids literally are like ready to just hit the streets. This just pisses me off. That was a grown-ass man. He was 30-something doing that. Fuck you. You're on a fucking bicycle. Little kids see that and they're like, it's okay. And then they get hit by cars. And then the people who hit them are blamed. Because somehow it's our fault that you're a terrible fucking parent. So speaking of, I have a student in my class who has no respect for authority. Zero. And you know what? Sometimes I'm okay with that if they admit it. Because I have another kid who has no respect for authority, but he admits it. And because of him admitting it, we've gotten past, and he respects me. This kid, he can go to hell. He's a terrible person. His only goal is to show up for school and be funny and talk gangster when he's in no remote way even remotely close and would be eaten alive in a real situation. And a week and a half ago, I wrote him up for texting because he didn't have the money. And, while, my policy, he'd be like, oh, no, I'm just charging it. And, for a little while, I was like, you know what? I feel like I'm getting through to this kid. He seems to be coming around for me. And I know that last year he was terrible because we teachers know students. We talk and we know them. You can sometimes learn a lot by the way a teacher is answered by a student in the hallway, and he is one of those kids who will answer a certain way. Well, today he's just texting under his desk again like usual. And I let him go. At one point, I was looking over and there was part of me that he knew I saw. He knew. And I just kept doing my thing because they were supposed to be working on a review. And he just kept going. So I wrote the referral. I sent it. I gave him another 3 or 4 minutes to keep fucking around on his phone. And then I said, student, I sent a document to the office because you're still on your phone. Just a heads up. And then he continued to just be on his phone. So after about 5 more minutes, I just got up and walked to the door and pointed at that door and kind of nudged my head. And he knew. There was no disrespect in either of the movements involved. He knew he was being removed from the room. Oh, and by the way, the last 2 days I've been at my desk, that is so abnormal for me because I know that if I'm up, at least entertaining or talking to them, that they're awake, that they're laughing, that they're at least partially listening to what's going on in the class. And you have a lot less discipline problems when you're up and about teaching. And what that shows me, what the hell are you doing? Do you not see that double line? Fucking idiots. Can we please, folks, learn to drive? Learn from grandma if you have to. Learn from someone, unless the grandma's the woman who just tried to pull in front of me. And then I'd be like, the fuck are you? Your grandma's terrible too at driving. Holy Jesus. This town's gonna make me start to believe in God again. Cause I'm gonna want him to return to destroy it. That's the reason. I'm gonna want him to come reset it. Just start it all over. It's like that song by Tool, Enema. Just flush it. This is turning into be one of those days that I just don't understand human beings. I don't understand what their goal is at the moment, or what the goal of that person is in the blue car up there that just crossed 4 lanes and we're really in like 10 mile per hour traffic. That's interesting. Folks. My regular class, and I'm going to finish that story with that student because it is not over. my regular class is setting up to have the older generation be so fed up with them that I don't want to say we'll welcome a world war or a big conflict, but we won't regret them having to go. They need a hell of a reality check. They have absolutely zero respect for the nice things that they have. Their free lunch, their cheaper housing, free textbooks, free education even, which, that shit might change soon. Who knows? Education's in transition. But I'm a showman, and when I'm up in front of the classroom, I can at least herd them. But God forbid I ask them just a little bit to do independent work. It is impossible. Now, I don't want to take away from the 5 kids that I have in this class that clearly shouldn't be in it. Let's be honest. They are honors worthy at this school. But, this is a dropout prevention class. No lie. This used to be called dropout prevention. And my prevention for them is failing. A lot of them are going to not make it. And to tangent for a second, I have a Cuban kid that just showed up. He just made it over before Trump signed actually that was Obama. I'm sorry. Before Obama signed the thing saying Cuba is now off the refugee list. He made it right before. And I'm going to see how he's going to be, because I had 3 Cuban students in my class already. New Cuban students. And they're fleeing this communist country. But they've been there so long that even their parents can't get them to work. Their parents are workers. That's why they're here. They finally fled the useless communist system in Cuba of that terrible dictator Fidel that people have complimented. Ugh. The man was a freaking dictator murderer. A Hispanic Kim Jong-un. And I literally said to the Cuban student, I said, do you think your mom and dad, who risked everything to get here, would be okay with you just sitting here doing absolutely nothing? And he's like, no, they would be mad. They'd be really mad. And I'm like, so you continue to do nothing? That was 3 days ago. For the past 4 days, he has done nothing. I don't know what to do with this class. This is why you guys wonder why teachers, and I'm a persistent one, and I've made it to January 27th, 26th. You wonder why we just sit down at our desk and put them in a textbook. You wonder. The reason we do that is so that we don't fucking hit them. So we don't fucking lose our minds and go home and get drunk or do drugs. That's why we sit at our desk. Because your child makes us think that we're bad at our job. Your child makes us think that the country is failing. Your child doesn't think you even care about them because you're worried about you. And yet it's our fault. And yet we get paid too much. And yet we're just overpaid babysitters. Well, yeah, that's all you're using us for. Free babysitting, actually. Paid for by the United States government. The real estate taxes of your state. Wonderful. If this keeps up, we will turn into Rome. We will fall. And this time it might be more than just the United States. Maybe it's time China rules. Maybe it's their turn. They have a pretty, I don't want to say it's good, but they have a solid education system. Problem is, if you aren't on their, A list in education, then yeah, you're siphoned out rather quickly. And I think we rubber banded from that, teeter-tottered away with No Child Left Behind so far. But they care more about that regular class than they do AP, folks. The AP kids will be okay. They have family, they have support. They're going to graduate no matter what. That's good for data. Students not walking the thing, that's not good. That skews our data. And if our data looks bad, then we look bad. Oh my. You know what? I love computers, but they have taken and tried to quantify everything. And weirdly, you want to know something they're not very good at quantifying? They're real good at quantifying whether a teacher can't teach to a test. But you want to know what they can't quantify? They can't quantify what we do in the classroom. They try to. Oh, you didn't point at the board 4 times. Once every 10 minutes, something must be pointed at. Oh, you didn't have this. Oh, when Johnny answered the question wrong, you didn't say the specific positive reinforcement and then tilt it to someone, because you can't make little Johnny feel bad for getting a question wrong. Because he's not wrong. He's not wrong, he just didn't get it right. Folks. Do you want to know why a school like mine doesn't have good teachers? Because we leave. Because today another one chose to leave. He just got to wait till June, put his paperwork in, and transfer to a school near his house, which of course would shorten this podcast greatly. And maybe it needs to. Maybe I should have never started this. Day 4, maybe I should have never started this. Maybe it was bound to turn negative. But I'm not. I'm a real positive person. Why do you think I spent 10 years at this school? Just trying. Just hammering away in the trenches. And who knows? I may not be able to move. And then I might be here again. And I don't want to be a negative person at a place where I can be useful. But to finish the story with the student, this is the student that when I wrote up for the cell phone and that betrayed my trust so fully, and I put that all in writing. I'm a writer, by the way, at heart, in training. And I put that in writing that I expected, because of the fact that I never write referrals, that I was really expecting something to be done about this. And I got something back saying 1 day of in-school suspension for complete disregard of the rules. You get a day. And this isn't a student where we're like, it's his first time. It's not. This is so not his first time. The student is an avid disobedient student. And he has no respect for anyone. I don't even think himself, which is why he probably acts this way. He probably knows he's in trouble in life, when in actuality, the kid, deep down, I think the kid's got a decent personality, but just for some reason, there's this demon lurking inside next to it, and he refers to the demon when he's cornered or feels stupid. And I got that demon today. So he knows the rules of school. There's no cell phones or headphones in during class. As I walk him to another teacher's classroom who's going to be just looking in on him, and taking students to another room actually really works, because they don't know anyone in the room usually. We do that on purpose. We kind of know who's got what class. And this was all freshmen. And here I am walking a sophomore in. And as I turned to enter the room with him, because he was taking his sweet ass time, the tactics these kids use are incredible. Walking really slow, trudging. I noticed he had put his headphones in, and I reached up and I said, no. I took one of the headphones out, and everything changed. I said, you know you're not supposed to have these in, let me have them. And he balled them up and said, you ain't getting my headphones. You ain't getting my stuff. You kicked me out, you ain't getting my stuff. And then he became extremely belligerent. I said, you know what, you're not going to ruin this teacher's class too. You're not going to ruin their class too. Let's go. We're going to go to the office. And I sent him to the office, called the office and said, there's a student out by this name. Please send someone to look for him. And I went back and sat at my desk, and I tried to decide on what to do with the rest of my life. If a school allows a 15-year-old boy to do that to a seasoned teacher, to make the teacher question a decision they made 10 years ago and the possibility of what happens next, means there's a problem. A very, very, very big problem. And I have been very highly decorated as a teacher. And even though I just trashed the quantifying, I think most students and most of my colleagues would agree that I'm a fairly decent and level-headed individual in teaching. Plus, like I said, I got a bunch of awards to prove it. But we don't need to talk about that. And yet a 15-year-old makes me question whether this is the right job. What other job on earth is like that? What other job? It's incredible.